So good morning, good morning.
Morgan, Morgan, Morgan.
Morgan. Who are you?
My name is Juan Sanchez. I grew up in Southern California, a little place called Rialto. It's about an hour away from Los Angeles.
Correct. What was your childhood dream? Yeah.
What was my childhood dream? It's a great question. I think, Katsi, when I asked myself what my childhood dream, I think at the time when I thought of the word dream, it meant what do I want to be when I grow up? I know now that dreams mean other things, but at the time as a child, and what that meant to me is I wanted to be an ice cream man. I wanted to sell ice cream to children. And I don't know if that means maybe I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be the center of attention, possibly. Or rather, I just wanted to make people happy as I was when the ice cream man would come by in his little truck, and the sound, the music, and the joy that it brought me.
What brought you here?
What brought me to Dreama Valley?
Yeah.
You're setting me up. A dream. A dream brought me here. And I think it's the same one. Not necessarily to be an ice cream man, but to certainly spread more happiness. Spread more happiness and enable people. That's what brought me to Vienna. And I think rather it was the understanding that I needed help. I wanted to learn. So I reached out.
What is success to you?
I often think what that means to me, and I think success it's difficult to summarize it, or rather I haven't taken the time to summarize it. I think success is living the type of life that I want to live. Feeling good about what I do. Even though if I don't feel good at the moment, because it's a grind. It's like working out. For me, I'm not a big fan of it. And I always have to really motivate myself to do it. But afterwards, I feel good about it. And having the freedom to essentially live that kind of life. I think that's success.
What has been the greatest challenge so far in your life?
Not losing my edge. Not giving up who I am. Not bowing down to the emperor and his new clothes. And overcoming the loneliness that comes with that, the isolation. Being the cultural creative, what's the word, the only one in my village who feels that way. I think up till now that's been the biggest challenge. Although recently I've discovered that I'm not alone. That there's more misfits like me. It's very reassuring. So I don't know if I dare to say that I've overcome my biggest challenge.
What has been a defining moment in your life?
I think there's several. I think there's been several moments, but certainly when I graduated was a defining moment. Or rather, when I got the job was a defining moment. Because the graduation led up to the job. A lifestyle change, money, not just for myself, but my family. That was a defining moment. The first paycheck I gave to my family was a defining moment. The moment I left home for that. The moment I quit my job was a defining moment. Standing here in this interview is a defining moment.
What fuels your creativity?
I think I'm a very creative person by nature, intuitively, but certainly just observing people fuels my creativity, because I even take the morbid, the grind, and I always spin it. And I don't know if that's a coping mechanism to always see things differently, to laugh at it. Maybe it's a dark sense of humor. I would have to say life. And I think it's important too that even when you feel sad or depressed or lonely, that's a great time to be creative, because when you reach a level that's so low and anything is possible, any thought, no thought is out of boundaries. Any idea is not out of boundaries, because you've reached this level, this profound depth. Now, the trick here is not to get stuck there. The trick is to go in there as if you're deep sea fishing, and to bring something and come back out with it. So oftentimes, isolation fuels my creativity as well.
What would you like to achieve within your lifetime?
I like to say, I always think that, I always say money because I think it's cool, right? Because I want to live this hip hop fantasy in my head, where I'm throwing money and popping bottles and, Maseratis and beautiful women. But it's funny is that when you ask what do I want to achieve in my lifetime, that's not it. And maybe it's not so much knowing what I want to achieve or what I want to do, but it's a lot easier to realize what I don't want to do, what's not necessarily of success to me. And I think that's where I'm at the moment. I'm figuring out what I want to achieve in life, and I don't quite know that yet, but I certainly know where I shouldn't be wasting my time. And I think we all know that. I think we all, that little voice in your head, right? That, no, this isn't it.
What advice would you give to aspiring talents?
Listen to the voice in your head. Become your own best friend.
What is the most beautiful thing you have ever seen?
When I think of that, I think of what has made me cry before. What has profoundly impacted me. And I think I have to get back to you on that one, because to me, that would be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Something that moved me so profoundly to the point of tears. And it's not that I've never cried before. I have. But I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Good. Who has influenced you?
You made me smile.
Yes, good.
It's funny. It's so many things. So many things, yeah. As a kid, I was influenced by comic books and video games. And I thought I was like Link from The Legend of Zelda, adventuring to go explore and save the princess and save the world and being challenged. Video games influenced me. comic books video influenced me. Wolverine, Hulk, Batman, my favorites. Later in life, reading books on philosophy, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Beethoven. Beethoven was not a prodigy. He had to work really hard. Mozart was a prodigy. It was skills and talent together. Underdogs. Rags to riches stories. Buddha. Siddhartha when he left his home to go find something. Those are all, they made me feel a little less lonely. And it's funny because my influences come from people, both people who are alive and people who are fictitious. So it's like this Frankenstein of sorts. And one of my role models is actually Alexander the Great. Today and this afternoon, I'm going to go to Thessaloniki, Greece, and I plan to go visit his birthplace this weekend. I guess it's kind of weird, people and the things that have influenced me.
What's your dream now?
You know, I thought I would have been prepared for this, considering I've been with you for about 10 days. My dream is to be a servant. That's my dream. To find my place where I fit right in. And I don't think it's as complicated as we make it seem. Again, listening to the voice, I think I think we all know what's right. I think we all know when we need to step in and do something and act on something. That's my dream, to be a servant.
So the last question is not a question, it's just an open space for whatever comes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So going back to what is my dream? That's the open space, right? I'm starting to see dream as a feeling now, instead of just an objective, because it certainly feels that way. It's to keep this going. Keep this feeling going, that's what I want.
Your dream matters. Keep going.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, rockstar. You smiled? Whoa.